There's a fierce battle going at those two key positions. But what's the great thing? They're all on offense and more weapons for Drew Brees. So I'm excited about the weapons and the younger weapons that the Saints are going to have increasingly built around this team, for Drew. I don't know if they will look at a veteran wide receiver or not. They may just feel comfortable with what they have, which I think what they have is, decent enough. Now, I'm going to swap and let BB talk first. Your thoughts, what's going on with the Saints offensive line, BB?
I thought a lot of guys had to be moved around, and I think it's a big thing that Who Dat Nation really has to keep in mind for that first game. Armstead wasn't playing, so left tackle-wise was a big question mark. So we have to move Pete from the right guard over to the left tackle, and you got to insert Lolito at right guard and Clemente at left guard, and then obviously Max Unger in the middle and Zach Street out at the right tackle. So you have playing in a spot he's never played before in an NFL game. You have Lolito playing right guard, is usually a left guard, and a lot of moving pieces. So I'm going to kind of give them a little freebie on that one. In terms of you had guys playing out of position, you had a lot of question marks on the offensive line. Obviously, that's one of the biggest issues going into the season is all the question marks on the offensive line. But I think it can't go without saying that Grayson and McCown were under a lot of pressure throughout the game. We talked about the run game a little bit earlier and how they couldn't produce yards per carry, it only being at 2.6. I think the offensive line as a unit, the grade's got to be like a C, a C minus. They did not play well, but at the same time, let's remember, players were playing out of position due to some injuries, even here in the preseason. But we're also throwing rookies in to see who's going to make this team. Remember, Allen, the center, Landon Turner, all these guys are going to have to get some time. Now, I know Allen didn't have a good game. I know Pete didn't have a good game. But it's preseason game one. Let's give them some time, and hopefully later in the preseason and into the regular season, this offensive line gets its stuff figured out.
Yeah, I think you bring up a point in terms of the offensive line. I think that if let's pray that there are no injuries significantly to the line. I think if we have to go to, in terms of depth, we don't have a lot of good depth for this line. I think the first unit looked really great on that first drive with Drew, and it went out, and they look great. But if something happens to anybody on that line, and I was listening, they're giving a lot of flock is going against Andrew Pete right now. Why did the Saints draft him at that high? And I think that was more of a Jeff Ireland project to try to reduplicate what the Dallas Cowboys did. And who knows, but what, Pete will look like throughout this year and next year. But he's getting a lot of negative press. You got to remember, people, it's just his second year. The days in which the pros came in and contributed as all-stars or solid players like they did, back in the 70s and 80s when I was watching football, those days have changed. Even from the 90s, these younger players are not coming in the NFL and just taking it by force. You have very few NFL players now that are coming into this league and just setting it on fire, whether it be wide receiver. Quarterback is about the only position that you usually may find that type of success in Andrew Luck and RG3 or Cam Newton. Outside of quarterback, it's not really happening like that. It even took J.J. Watt a couple of years before he, became the big household name. I know Clay Matthews and Luke Keating came in, and they did great. But you may get, one out of every draft that comes in and be a sensational rookie that you just can't stop talking about him. So we've got to be patient with Pete. Zach Street, you got to remember, was 32 going on 33. So Pete's job is originally to replace Zach Street, and so bouncing him from, hiring Armstead, just got back off the pup, so playing him here, playing him there, you got to be fair to the gentleman. He's playing all kinds of different spots. And we thank goodness for his versatility, but he was drafted to be the right tackle, starter once Zach Street. Now, he's not been able to supplant Zach Street. I think Lolito and Clemente have securely and fundamentally firmed their position. And I think in terms of that after those guys, I don't know what's going on with Landon Turner or what's going on with any of the people that are scheduled to back them up. That's a very shaky area in terms of the offensive line. And even, I know Lolito can back up Unger if he needs to switch to center. But the guard play is going to be very, very, very important in terms of the Saints. Brandon, your thoughts?
I think the guard play will be important. I think it's the biggest question mark on the line. Like I said, you have Armstead and you have Unger, who are really solidifying the offensive line. Clemente, we saw a few times last year where he played really well. We saw Lolito play really well in terms of the run game. Andrus Peat, like you said, the versatility, but he's really meant to be out there as the right tackle when Zach Street calls it quits. I heard some rumors. They were in talks with Dallas over a right guard, but we'll see what happens if the Saints even have enough to go and trade like that. I don't know. So we'll see what the Saints can do. Guard's the biggest question mark, and hopefully they'll figure it out throughout the season. I think Pete's going to get that start at right guard, and Clemente is going to get the start at left. Let's just hope there's no injuries and hope that this unit can come together, stay healthy, and protect Drew Brees.
All right, so that's the offensive line. That's the wide receivers. Didi, did you have anything to say about Josh Hill and his play with the tight end position? Or what's going on with Josh Hill? Your thoughts on why Josh Hill is just not doing what he's supposed to do, or what's going on with Josh Hill?
I think all the tight ends last night were relatively quiet. I think you brought that up a little bit earlier. Even Fleener only had one catch. It was a good catch on the sideline for a first down from Garrett Grayson, but everybody was relatively quiet. And I don't know. I mean, Josh Hill was one of those players that was supposed to make the leap last year, and he was even in the NFL's top, 20 players to make the leap. And you saw him got beat out by Benjamin Watson, who a lot of us said, wow, Ben Watson's more of a blocking tight end, hasn't really been a pass catcher in a long time. Then does he prove us all wrong and have a career year? But Josh Hill couldn't beat out Ben Watson. Now, Josh Hill didn't even get a reception or a target last night. I'm not sure if Josh Hill even played. That's how quiet he might have been if he did. It's unique.
Yeah.
It's a unique situation because you see the talent, you see the size, 6'6". He scored some touchdowns a few seasons ago and really became one of those tight ends that sneaked under play action and was almost your quote-unquote fullback and caught it out of the flats and scored a few touchdowns that way. But we haven't seen the real downfield ability out of Josh Hill, and it might make him a bubble player this year.
Wow. Because I'll tell you who, man, from New England outplayed him. He had 4 touchdowns, and I'm like, Josh Hill, I don't know what's going on, because if you could get Josh Hill to play to the capability or expectations to go along with Fleener and Michael Thomas, Cook, Snead, and now the addition of Tommy Lee Lewis and Murphy, the Saints have potential, a lot of potential. So we'll keep an eye on Josh Hill in offense. All right, let's switch as we get ready to wrap up these last 2 segments of this recap of this game. The defense, real quick, I'm just going to be honest. The first team, this is where your hope is, Who Dat Nation. 20 yards and 1 first down. That's all they gave up in the first quarter. Now, of course, Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski were not in that game. I don't even know if Edelman, and I can't remember if Edelman or any of their top players played in that era. But overall, still, they went out there, 20 yards and 1 first down. That's all they gave up the starting defensive unit. You have to feel positive about that. Edabali, 2 sacks. So I am very pleased with the first unit and what they were able to accomplish and do. Now, after that, it wasn't horrible. Remember, 2 touchdowns were given up to offensive turnovers. So overall on defense, it really only gave up about 20 points. And that's what we said. If the Saints can hold teams in the middle of the pack, keep teams in the range of 17 to 24, the Saints will be in every game. When the Saints can hold teams to 20 points, the Saints are going to be right there in the game. Right there in the game. Unless Drew Brees and the offense just have one of them games where they turn the ball over 6 times or something like that. And they usually have one of those stinker-type games. So there is a lot of hope on that. Now, what is very concerning on defense for me is the injury to Stephon Anthony. Some speculation is that he may have had an ankle injury. He was trying to walk off. Then they had to call a car to come and get him. But that is scary for me because the strength of the linebackers was with Kikaha being healthy and Stephon Anthony. Now, if Kikaha is gone for the year, and let's hope Stephon Anthony will not have to miss any significant time. So we're praying for you, Stephon. Most importantly, I always tell you guys with me, what's most important is the players' healing and their safety. I love football, but never before wishing someone's body to be healed. You don't understand it unless you've gone through where you need your body to be healed. I have gone through that on numerous occasions in various forms of my body. So I'm going to always say, first and foremost, Stephon, if you listen to this broadcast, we want you healed and whole, and we wish you the best. And then the same thing goes for Kyle Wilson, Keenan Lewis, and Aloy Kikaha. We want all of you healed and whole, and all the players. Getting back to the linebackers, BB, and on defense, what were your thoughts about the defense?
I think if you take the scoreboard away, the Saints defense may have won the Saints the game. You look at it, and literally the Saints gave the Patriots 2 touchdowns off those turnovers. The interception by Grayson, picked off by Jamie Collins, and the fumble recovery off the sack late in the fourth quarter. The Saints only gave up 20 points if you take those out of it, and the Saints win the game 22-20. I think the Saints defense played extremely well, especially that first team. Like you said, 20 yards in the first quarter, That's crazy to wrap your mind around with how bad the Saints defense has been the last few years. To see them come out and play extremely well, I just couldn't wrap my mind around it at first. But then I kept watching the game, and I have some notes here. The first drive, Edabali gets a sack on 3rd down with only a 4-man pass rush. Second defensive drive, a pass breakup deep by Kenny Vaccaro, broken up from Bennett, and a pass breakup on 3rd down by Danielle Ellerby. Defensive drive 3, you give up a couple first downs, but then Edabali gets a second sack. A blitz from Laurinaitis really helps Edabali there. Laurinaitis with the initial hit, and Edabali able to finish it up. And then causing a 3rd and 14, and then the pass goes incomplete. The first team looked fantastic, and I know, the professor just brought up Brady didn't play. Gronk didn't play. Julian Edelman didn't play. A lot of those starting players for the Patriots, these star players, didn't play, but that doesn't take away from the Saints defense. The linebacking core looks good. Even Craig Robertson, I think he led the team in tackles last night with the second team. Anthony's injury is a concern. Had a couple people ask whether it was me or Barry or people from this network as a Big Easy believer about the status of Stephon Anthony. We still haven't heard anything. And Sean Payton hasn't released anything either. His only comments about the injury is we'll see, which is a little bit concerning. Going in the secondary, I think Devontae Harris, a guy we heard his name a lot in training camp, had a good game. Crawley was kind of quiet